Hello fellow travelers, my name's SG and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be going over one of my favorite Christmas classics, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, starring Jim Carrey. Now, I know a lot of people don't really care for this one, but I will say this is one of my favorites, maybe because I grew up on it and I tend to watch it at least once every Christmas or so. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? I'm sure most of us have seen either the short or a different version of the Grinch, but the overall story is that Grinch is a green creature who lives on the top of a mountain that overlooks a small town called Whoville. And there are a bunch of people known as the Whos live, and they celebrate all the holidays, but the one they all love the most is Christmas. So that being that they all love Christmas so much, there is one person in Whoville who hates it the most, and that being the Grinch. And it's all about how the Grinch was so fed up with it this year that he thought that he could ruin it. It's a common story that we've seen, but I think this was the first one to actually put it into perspective. It was the first one to actually do it. How the Grinch actually did steal Christmas for the most part. And I think for a lot of us, it's the first time we see an actual redemption arc in just a short cartoon and or movie. And in the Jim Carrey version, it's basically that. But I do think that they try to expand it more to make it into like an hour and a half long, almost 2-hour movie. It works for what it is, and I do really enjoy all the add-ons to it. They do give the Grinch more of a character than just, hating Christmas. You get this vibe that he is much more than just what they portray him in the cartoon. And the way Jim Carrey pulls it off is very well done. The music's amazing and all that, but I will talk about all that in a minute. For the most part, the story remains the same from the original cartoon. As I said, it just gives the character more of a background, gives the people of Whoville more of personality too, rather than just being the victims of the Grinch. For our character list, we're going to talk about the Grinch, for one, played by Jim Carrey. And he is really the one that carries this movie. Well, naturally, because he is the title character. He is our main protagonist, who also acts as the antagonist to it. You get a lot from him in this movie. You get a lot of Jim Carrey acting silly, crazy, but you do see that there is a heart behind it. You do see that the Grinch himself is hurting in a lot of ways. You see him wanting to connect to people, wanting to connect to certain people, but he feels that he's an outsider, and sometimes there are people that make him feel like an outsider and remind him that he's an outsider. I think that it is very well done, that you can kind of understand why he hates Christmas. Not just because they ridiculed and mocked him, but that it was the one time he actually opened himself up to people. He was willing to let himself be seen by people, and was quickly rejected by those people. And not just that, he was ridiculed, mocked, all the way till he inevitably ran away. And he didn't try to get better, he just remained angry. And it just grew as it went on to where he became more of a creature, a cryptid. They even make a joke that he's kind of like Bigfoot in the movie. Funny, but it kind of gets to his point, And that's kind of illustrated more in the ending, where he does open himself up to Cindy Lou Who, and she accepts it. Same thing for several other people. They allow him to be part of the group. As late as it was, they see him for what he is. Not a monster or a creature, just a person who may not like the same things as they do and may hate Christmas from time to time, but I do think that they see him as just a person who wants to connect, who wants to be there, who wants to have the fun deep down inside. As for Cindy Lou Who, she is our secondary character, someone who wants to know Christmas. Like, she spent all her life hearing about Christmas but not really understanding it. And she goes out to try to actually see what is Christmas, like what is the main idea behind it, or is it just commercial? Like, is it just buying stuff that you want to give somebody else? And you can see throughout the movie that kind of the message of Christmas can be easily swept away with, just focusing on the little things like contests, presents, trying to get them to people, trying to get the nicest things, stuff like that. And Cindy Lou goes to somebody who is the exact opposite of Christmas, the Grinch, to see if she can get another perspective on it. She doesn't exactly get a different perspective because they both learn off of each other. They both learn what is Christmas, what does it mean, and through them teaching it, or teaching it to each other, they manage to learn from each other. And from them learning from each other, they manage to teach everyone else in Whoville what really matters during the holidays. And that's just being together and appreciating each other's company and sharing a little bit of kindness if you can. And who knows how much that can go. Those are very well done. You could tell that this is set to be a whimsical kind of world. That it's definitely different from anything we see like in our everyday lives, and it's meant to be cartoonish. It mimics the drawings of Dr. Seuss, and it is very interesting in that regard. They do keep a lot of the themes, they do keep a lot of the gadgets and the vehicles. Like, it is very fun and it's very interesting to know about this world. But if I did have to have one gripe with it, is that I think the coloring could be a little brighter. I do think they could use a little more of a retouch, like an HD remake, Not to do the movie over, but more just to touch up the coloring, make it maybe a little brighter, make it look a little smoother. That would probably be my only gripe with the movie. Overall, I think the aesthetic, the scenery, and the overall feel of the movie fits very well. It's just the coloring, I think, over time just needs a little fine-tuning. Now, there aren't that many Christmas references I can make in this, because it's mainly going off of the original Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas story. But there are a couple I would like to note. Like, we do see Santa Claus appear at least once in the movie. And you do get a small sequence where the Grinch puts a nose and a horn on Max, the dog that he has, and does a whole bit where he's pretending to be a movie director and he's filming for a weird version of Rudolph. I love that whole sequence. It's very funny, and it does poke fun at the director himself. Jim Carrey has even said that in the commentary, which I do recommend checking it out. And yeah, I think it's just a fun touch to add that, just to have fun with the whole scene and the characters, and poke fun at the people who are in charge. Overall, I really do love this movie. It's fun, it has a style, and it really does keep it silly yet whimsical at certain points. I think the Grinch is a fine fit for the movie they portrayed. I do know that a lot of people don't like the way he acts. They think he acts too silly, or they act too cartoonish. But I do think that it fits for what they were trying to portray the Grinch as, kind of losing himself in this whole situation. I will say that, like I said, the only gripe I have is the more color scheme they chose. I wish they would have chose something with brighter, or at least update it to be brighter, because it's still a very well looked at movie for most people in who were born in the 90s. A lot of people can look back and have very fond memories of this version of the Grinch. I do know that a lot of people do prefer the original, and I have to say I do prefer the original myself. But I can't say that anybody's able to perfect it, or at least copy it as well as this version. They did manage to make a great effort to copy what they could, while trying to make it something unique and different, so it's not a direct mimic of the original. And I do understand that people are they don't like the Grinch having a reason to hate Christmas. And to that I say, they really didn't give him a reason to hate Christmas. I mean, yeah, why he ran away would definitely make sense to why he hates Christmas. But if you look at the notebook that he has before all this goes down, you can see he wasn't a fan of Christmas already. He didn't like Christmas already. So you can always argue that this wasn't the thing that started him hating Christmas. It just made him finally do something that was probably already on his mind. But I do think that this is a fun Christmas special. I do think it has a deeper meaning that all of us can really understand, and we can appreciate as we grow older. Because this is a movie about someone being an outcast. Not just feeling like an outcast, but being an outcast. And how it is hard to open up. But that there are people who do want to open up and to share with them. And maybe discover something new themselves, about themselves or about the world around them. So, I will say that this is a timeless movie with a timeless message to it. And will probably go down a little longer, but not as long as the original. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I will be back next week with another one. Probably more related to New Year's, or maybe just another Christmas one. We'll see how it goes. If you have a suggestion, please leave it down in the comments. I would like to hear them. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day, and see you next time.